Yeah.
Hey yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of To Make a Turn. We are back. We are rebranded.
Again.
How many times did I say that already?
This is literally word for word the exact same thing that you said in the last episode where we rebranded.
Let's get to the chase. All right, we are back. We had a little bit of a hiatus, but we are here, and our color scheme has returned to kind of that yellowish thing, but I've added more of an orange to it. I've added more of a purple.
Also, I do want to point out.
I got a lot of wacky things going on right here.
I want to point out.
Clearly see.
I want to point out right now that at the time of recording this episode, I actually have not seen the new theme. Will has not shown it to me, so that's fun.
Have I not?
I don't think so.
I have, but
I mean, I could be wrong.
At the very least, showed you a sample. I showed you a sample. But it doesn't matter. Once this episode comes out, you'll see it and you'll be blown away, just as everybody else will be blown away, including this guy. And by the way, let's answer the first question. Who is this guy? He's not important. You shouldn't even think about him.
That's not the first question. The first question is somebody watching this asking, why do you still exist?
No. That's a little weak. Okay. But now what I have right there, that's a little phone holder. I'm gonna go pick it back up real quick. I'm sorry for abusing you. Yeah.
Apologizing to your phone holder for abuse is crazy.
I thought it'd be funny to have it sit on top of my microphone in frame, and throughout the episode I might slap it a little bit more, and so I just think it looks funny just sitting here, and like. Eventually, we're going to start talking, and we're just going to get so deep into conversation that the fact that this thing is here is just not going to register. I guess it's a little mean calling it a thing, because I've actually given it a name. I've named him
it's just going to be called The Thing.
I've named this thing the gangster name of Bun Bun.
Yes, so very gangster.
You know what I might do? I might, in editing, I might have moments where it just zooms in on him and I just give him a demonic voice and he just like responds to something like, "My soul was burned on birth," or something like that. I don't even know what I just said.
Nice.
Alright. Speaking of nice, 2025.
Yes, it is a new year. And of course, with the new year comes a brand new podcast.
Mm-hmm. But enough about the podcast.
It's a new year.
Talk about ourselves the entire thing.
New year, new podcast episode. That's right, guys. We are shifting to a annual schedule. There will only be one podcast episode released per year.
No, that's who put you in charge of decision making.
Me.
Whoa, nah.
That's right. I'm taking over this joint again.
How many times have we reused that joke?
I don't know. Too many.
Of you taking over the podcast.
Too many, honestly.
Also, I love how in your lighting setup, it makes you look like a bad guy, like with all the shadows, like being like kind of coming across from up here as opposed to down here. I'm really bad at describing things.
Oh, hold on, let me.
But you just gotta look. Like Steven, look at the camera. Oh,
there, is that better?
You got rid of the lighting.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looked kind of weird on camera, so I didn't want to.
Well, y'all that are watching, y'all can just rewind to when he had it.
Yeah, just do the little, just double tap the side of the screen if you're on mobile, or press the left arrow a few times if you're on PC.
Yeah. Speaking of guys who look weird in lighting, I'm gonna break one of my rules real quick. Where I've always had a rule on this podcast that we don't mention politics, but this thing that came out recently was so funny to me that it was impossible for you not to bring it up. And I talked with Steven about this beforehand.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that inauguration. One of those words.
One of those words, man. Just words, man.
Of Trump. Let's talk about that inauguration photo of Trump that came out. And I saw it only in black and white as of late, and I showed it with Steven, and it's like, I'll put it up on screen right here. Tell me this does not look like a classic villain look.
Hold on, I need to actually go pull up the picture again so that I can look at it, because he sent it to me. It was like a Twitter post, and it was like someone was like, it's like Donald Trump's official inauguration portrait has been released, and literally it's like all black and white. He's got like the same bottom up lighting that I just had like a few seconds ago, and he's like just absolutely burning holes in the camera with like just staring it down with like the most evil villain, I'm about to end your whole career looking face.
No, not the career. He's about to end your existence.
Yeah, no, literally. And it's like, I'm like, you can be whatever political view you want. We're not here to talk about the political side of things, but anybody, no matter what political side you stand on, can look at this picture and agree that this is silly.
Even the most right-wing conservatives, has to be looking at this and admitting that this looks just goofy, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not even a political thing at this point.
I wish that was the case, but I get the feeling if I go on Twitter right now, I'm gonna see a bunch of people being like, "Yeah, this looks awesome. Definitely doesn't make you look like a Dracula or an A1. Nah, definitely not.
Nah, no way."
But getting into that would be more going into where I don't want to take this podcast, which would be just a bunch of politics. Y'all know me. I hate talking about it because I just find it. A lot of times I find it stupid. I find that like arguing with people about politics does nothing. It literally does nothing.
I mean, there's a reason why pretty much any public Discord server. Yeah, there is a reason why pretty much every public Discord server that you ever join is gonna have a rule that says like don't talk about politics or something like that, because like it's just such a sensitive topic these days, and it's such a divisive topic. People will get extremely defensive or offensive about it, and we don't want this podcast to be a place where you either hard agree or hard disagree. We want this to be a place where everyone can come here to enjoy some quality content, and so we try to keep the politics out of it.
Right. And I talked with Steven about this, but I would love to be able to break the trend of having podcasts like these turn political. And like basically, as I described it, being comfortable with just ostracizing an entire half of potential viewers just because we want to make a political stance. Like, I just think that's stupid. Like, from a purely entertainment side, like, how does that benefit you? And also, when you look at a political side, how does that benefit you? It doesn't. That's my answer. But yeah. Just what I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it, but Steven's little incident with the lighting from what it looked like his laptop.
Yeah, I had my laptop open because I needed to check something, and it
reignited my interest in this topic that I brought up to him, because I saw it and I was just like, "This is too great to not mention."
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's move on.
No, I feel like we should stay there for a second and just. I feel like there's something there.
What do you mean there's something there?
I don't know. It was supposed to be like a therapy joke.
Hearing us do terrible deep voices.
It was supposed to be a therapy joke.
What?
You know what?
How is that a therapy joke?
Just forget about it. You never heard like stereotypical like in therapy where they're like, I feel like there might be something there. Let's go back to that. Tell me more about that. How does that make you feel?
This is our, I want to say, our fourth rebranding, and we're never getting rid of these moments where we're just like
one of
have
us
to
makes a
explain our
joke.
own joke.
Yeah, well, because one of us makes a joke and then just neither of us knows what it is.
Not even the person telling the joke.
Well, I mean, I knew what the joke was supposed to be, but you know, and then
Okay. All right. So another thing that I wanted to talk about, since we've been gone for a while, is let's bring up that. I know this is gonna be painful for you, Steven.
What do you
But
mean
let's talk about that
painful?
Mario.
What do you mean
Let's talk about that Mario
painful?
Kart tournament.
Are you
You know, the
assuming?
one.
Are you assuming that I have any feelings toward a random little Mario Kart game that two people played in one of their living rooms? Do you really think that I'm going to let that affect my life?
Yes, I'm expecting it to absolutely ruin you. I expect you to get countless sleepless nights thinking about how I absolutely pwned you.
You
And not
boned
only
me?
that, pwned.
Oh, okay. That wasn't even a joke. I genuinely thought you were. Okay. All right. Okay. All right then.
Yeah, that's kind of an outdated term to begin with. Like, no one says pwning anymore, so I probably shouldn't
Well, I
have even
mean,
said that. But regardless, let's talk about. Like, it's going to be less about us talking about the game itself, and I just want to talk about that live stream.
yeah, the fact that regardless of the outcome of the actual competition, which is obviously not very important, we're not going to talk about that. We actually tried to live stream it.
I think it's very important.
Well, but see,
think
we
it's
actually tried to
definitely important
live
to think
stream it, and we got it. It took us a couple of attempts because I was having technical difficulties with the capture card that I was using to capture the Wii gameplay.
Yeah, let's elaborate on that real quick. So. And this is funny too because we had one previous date where we attempted this. I forgot exactly what day it was, but I remember I made a video that was meant to hype up the event, and it at the end it showed off the date of when this event was going to take place, the Mario Kart live stream.
Yes.
And so I made the video, I sent it out, and sent it out to everywhere where I could promote it. And not even a minute later, I saw that it was taken down. And because of the fact that I used royalty-free music, because I specifically looked up royalty-free music. However, what ended up happening, which I didn't realize, was this particular royalty-free channel had a thing where it's like, yeah, you can use our music. However, you need to have this particular type of credit in your description. Otherwise, we're going to copyright strike it from your channel. I don't think it was a natural strike. I think it was just kind of like a claim that I took down the video. So no one could. It wasn't even that it wasn't making money. It's that it was a type of claim where nobody could watch it.
You say that as if it was making money in the first place.
No, I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about making money. I'm talking about people seeing it and people actually being able to watch it.
Oh.
Like, no one would be able to actually watch it. It got blocked, which was the most annoying thing to me because I was anticipating. I knew that I was using a royalty-free music, but I've had experience before where it was just taken down anyways. But what perplexed me was the fact that they went as far as to just block it. And they had a thing on the channel where it was like, "Oh, did your video get blocked? Well, you can take this few steps in order to get it unblocked," which basically meant you had to put the credits in your description and then put a link to the video and like send it to them that they would manually get rid of the claim. But however, I tried to put the link in, and for some reason, it just wasn't working. And so eventually, I just gave up. And,
because YouTube, everyone.
And so the next day, Steven came over and explained to us what happened with the capture card in that particular game. On that particular day with
okay. So previously, I have a laptop, which I have. Okay, I have two computers. I have a desktop and I have a laptop. The laptop is what I use for like going to class, and when I go home for breaks, like Christmas break, which was why I was home at that particular time, that's what I bring with me because it's easier than bringing my desktop. My laptop, the operating system that I run on it is Linux, and if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it, so I'm just going to assume you know what it is. My laptop, at least at the time, ran Linux. And the capture card that we were using, I have a capture card that I have successfully used with Linux before, but I didn't bring it because I'm an idiot. So I didn't have a capture card there, but in a stroke of luck, my dad happened to have a capture card laying around that he wasn't using that he allowed me to borrow. So I was like, okay, cool. But the problem was that was an Elgato capture card. And what I found out about Elgato capture cards is that they use proprietary drivers that do not work with Linux. And I spent like... I was literally sitting at Will's house, just like trying to get everything set up. I was sitting there like trying to figure out like, is there any way I can get this to work at all? I tried on my laptop, and then Will even offered to let me try on his laptop, which is a MacBook, and it didn't work there either because Apple, Apple. But yeah, so in light of having that happen, where we just had, capture card wasn't working, we couldn't get it to work, and Will was like, well, the video got taken down, and so we just decided at that point to just call it off and say we're not going to do the live stream today, we're going to do the live stream later. So the community post that was up that didn't get taken down like the video kind of didn't mean anything. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
The entire thing just fell apart before we even attempted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Our first attempt was an absolute disaster, so it was just kind of a matter of just trying it again the next week, like the next weekend. So next weekend rolls around, and I tried to make another version of the hype video, this time using a different song. But in the end, it just turned out so lackluster because I could tell this was just made, this was just half-assed, basically. And so eventually, after the fact, I just ended up taking down because I was just like, nobody's watching it anyway. So, and I kind of knew putting out the video that no one's really going to watch it. But my thing was, it was just funny being able to look back and seeing how epic the hype video was versus just showing us playing Mario Kart, just having a good time. And just make the hype videos as serious as possible to add to the comedy of the fact that our live stream was as unserious as it gets.
Yes. But, that was the whole idea behind it.
So that was that. But then we started, so this time around, the second attempt, the capture card actually worked. So, elaboration on that? The elaboration on that is literally just I installed Windows on my laptop. I'll throw in some sound effects to replace the silence that you had up there.
Yeah. No, the elaboration on the second time around when the capture card actually worked was literally just I installed Windows on my laptop, which wasn't entirely because of the streaming issue. Linux is, I like it, but it can be troublesome a lot of the time. It is not for people who don't know what they're doing. And don't get me wrong, I know what I'm doing, but it's just annoying to deal with sometimes. And so I ended
basically, so if I could throw this out there, if Microsoft and Apple are like Domino's and Pizza Hut of common pizza places, Linux is that mom and pop shop you go to where half the time the food is horrifically undercooked and just not good at all, but then the other half of the time it's just the most amazing thing ever.
Exactly, yeah. That honestly is a really good way to describe it. Yeah.
I was thinking that. I was just like, yeah, you got your official guys, and then you got the guys who they do the job sometimes.
Sometimes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So continue.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, that's literally the solution that I came to. I just installed Linux on it, and I just said, screw it. That's what we're doing. That this is just the way it has to be. So yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. And so yeah, basically having done that, the drivers for the capture card actually worked, and so I was able to stream, and we did the stream, and it worked. But well, it kind of worked. We got the capture card working. Something else happened to the stream, which this was entirely my fault. This was not like a hardware issue. This was just a skill issue on my part. But
I was about to say.
We wanted a way to pick up our voices, right? So it's actually the same microphone that I use for the podcast that I'm using right now, as a matter of fact. I'm not going to show it because I don't feel like moving the stand, but it's the same microphone. I brought it to,
for reference, this is what my microphone looks like, so just imagine this.
It doesn't look like that though. It's like I don't know. Here, I can.
It's an actual official looking one. Oh, he did end up moving it.
Yeah, it's that. So basically, I had that, and I was like, oh, it picks up audio pretty well. I'm sure it'll be fine and not have a problem. So that was not the case. Basically, we had to since I didn't have a stand, or we didn't really have a proper place to put the microphone. I had to.
That was the main issue right there. Just not having a
really
conventional way to actually hold it up.
Yeah, so what we did, we ended up just putting it, literally leaning it up against some pillows on the floor, is what we did.
On the floor.
Literally,
we thought
on
that
the
was
floor.
a good idea.
We did. At the time, it seemed like it might work, but yeah.
But it was our voices will go out, and the sound waves will also travel down there to the microphone. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it did.
In hindsight, that kind of sounds stupid.
It did pick up. It just didn't pick up very well. It was, very quiet, obviously. But the problem with it comes in the fact that since the game audio was coming from the capture card and was basically piped directly into the computer without having to go through a microphone, it was actually at a normal volume. And so when you have the game audio at a normal volume and our voices at a very quiet volume, it sounds like the game audio is overly loud. And right. despite turning the game audio down as much as I tried to balance it. I used the audio meters and tried my best. I turned the game down by a lot in OBS, and despite all of that, when the final video came out, it still the game very, very overpowered our voices, and you can barely hear us.
And the other thing about it too was, after the fact, I tried everything in my power to try to bring our voices out. And the only way I could possibly get our voices out was to do this thing. There's this feature in CapCut where you can basically remove the background noise from the vocals. And basically you duplicate your video, you put it on top of the original video, and you remove the voice from one of them, and you remove the game volume from the other one, and you bring up the voice. The problem is that the feature also brought out the game voices, like the voices in the game of Mario going, "Woohoo! Yippee!" all that, all those noises were separated as well, and there was no possible way that I could have separated our voices from their voices without their voice. So I would bring our voices volume up so that we would actually be audible, and then Mario voices would be even louder, it was that loud, and our voice was yeah, we're playing a game, yeah. So that's what happened. So it was either no audible voices or too many audible voices. So I just figured it was just not worth the effort. And so it's just like, hopefully next time, what we should do in the future is what we do for these episodes, where we do an audio test. And
yeah, we really should.
We do an audio test before doing the, because this episode particularly, we did an audio test, and my microphone was a little too high, and so I decided to adjust it, which should, in theory, make it sound better. Maybe when going back and editing, I'll realize it also sounds terrible, and it's just like, oh.
Believe it or not, guys, people actually do audio tests for a reason.
Right.
Like, they're not just this random thing that people do for fun. Like, there's actually a reason why people audio
actually think that, but, you know. Oh, what? That testing stuff? That's a lot of baloney. You don't need to do that. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. Good luck finding someone who actually thinks like that. It's probably like some old guy, just like, back in my day, we had the right the first time. Now you youngins, y'all can't even get it right the fifth time you do something. Man. So, our stream, I guess it's like one of those things where it's like you watch it and it's like, if you just want to see the gameplay and you don't mind not hearing us, or even if you prefer not hearing us and our voices over some Mario gameplay, then I'd say it was a success. But if you actually do care to hear all of our jokes, because we had a lot of jokes that we were saying that I'm sad never actually are going to be able to be heard because they all got drowned out. Like, I know for a fact, while we were doing this, we made a bunch of Diddy jokes because of the fact that there's a character in Mario Kart, in the Mario universe called Diddy Kong, which I found to be hilarious. You know, looking back at it, just like you're never gonna look at the character the same again when you just see his name is Diddy Kong.
Diddy.
So I think it was mostly me who kept on making Diddy jokes. But we also made other types of jokes too that I really wish I could have gone back and heard, but yeah,
that is what it is.
But yeah. Overall, I'd say I had a fun time, and I definitely am excited for when we get to do this again. And Steven, you better bring on your A game next time. That's all I'll say.
As opposed to what, my B game?
Topic, but you know what? I'm going to bed. I'm taking one with me.
You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that.
I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
Says who?
Me.
Who put you in charge?
Me.
Well, guys,
I might
we
just
lost
do the rest
him.
of the podcast. What if I just did the rest of the podcast just laying down? Honestly, who's stopping me?
Me.
What are you gonna do, nerd?
I don't know.
Alright, now let's get on to the topic about most fun and most adventurous things we've ever done. That just gets us super energetic whenever we even talk about it. So I'll start. There was this one time where...
So glad to see that you're committed to the podcast, Will.
What if we both did an episode like this, where we just lay in bed and we're just like... We like lay in silence, and then occasionally we're just like... I hope you're finding this entertaining.
I hope y'all find this entertaining.
Alright, let me get up. This bed has gone on too long. This is literally what I did last episode. The last episode that was up before we went on hiatus. I think I even ended it I think I even ended it by saying I was going to go to sleep and I was going to dream up more banger podcast topics.
Yes, and here we are with absolutely no banger podcast topics.
Now here's a banger podcast topic. Digital Circus. They did this wacky thing called releasing a new episode while we were in hiatus.
No way.
The funny thing about this too is like the last episode, again, it was when we were talking about episode 3. And now we're here talking about episode 4. I think like a month after it came out. I think after they made that deal with Netflix, they were able to get these episodes out faster. So
I mean,
we're not going. I don't know if we're gonna go super in depth in this because I feel like Steven especially has forgotten a lot of stuff. But we'll talk about this 4th episode, won't we?
Yes, we will.
I'll let you get a better idea.
I mean, not really. We don't really have a lot of other topics.
This is our first episode back, folks. Just bear with us. It's taking us a moment to get back in the swing of things. just bear with us. But yeah, Digital Circus, episode 4. So let's go over what this episode was. So it was basically, as Steven said before we started, it was basically the McDonald's episode.
Yeah, essentially. At least from what I remember.
McDonald's.
Yeah, from what I remember, basically it was the characters of the Digital Circus, like the adventure for this particular episode was literally just they work at a fast food restaurant. Like that was it. that was what they did.
Yeah. The funny thing is like they begin the episode by having Kane's like, alright, so for this adventure y'all all are going to die. You're going to be hunted by this mass murderer, a bunch of blood everywhere, and then Pomni is like, can we not do that, please? I don't want anything scary again.
It's too scary for me.
That's honestly how it was. It was like, it was too scary. And so we got this. So instead, Kane ended up pulling from this suggestion box, and one of the things was literally just work at a fast food restaurant, and the one that presumably put that there and the one who wanted this was Gangle, the mask person.
Yeah, that's the one with like the
squiggly ribbons.
There's a term for like what their mask is called, but I forgot what it is.
It's just a happy mask, sad mask. It's that classic, you know, those theaters that have the happy mask, sad mask thing?
Yeah, it's that. Yeah,
it's literally just that. And at the very beginning of the episode, Gangle ends up breaking her mask once again, her happy mask, and she's like, "You broke my comedy mask again." And then what's the name of the Zubul? She brings these names. I'm trying to remember. I'm just now getting these. Gangle gets his new mask from Zubul, and it kind of looks the same as a comedy mask, except she has normal looking eyes, kind of. I say kind of because one of them's like black and white, the other is white and black. It's kind of one of those kind of. Yeah. And she also has kind of these blush mark things that kind of look like the things you find in ramen, but yeah. And so this mask ends up kind of giving her more confidence, and she kind of takes that confidence and goes a little too far with it. One may say.
One may say.
Because once they get to the restaurant, Gangle, who's appointed the general manager, she ends up taking the job super seriously, and she goes around just like
literally just like actually being a manager, like
right, just like say, "Hey, you need to clean the bathroom. The bathroom looking like a fire." Or what did she say? She was like, "Looks like a biohazard. Needs a good scrubbing." She kind of has that. She kind of have those like. It's like, let's get to work, guys.
Let's get to work, guys.
And then when Jax, did so, it's like, oh no, I dropped whatever her name is into the fryer. And then Dave was like, "Oh no, we ain't gonna have anything like that going around here." And she literally had one of these, just like,
Yeah.
if this episode brought me a lot of memories back of working in Wendy's, and if I had a general manager who acted exactly like this, because I've had a couple that have acted similar to this, but if it was like the exact same tone, the exact same mannerism, I'm gonna be honest, maybe this is just me being a prick or being a dick, but like, I would find it very hard to take them seriously.
I mean, no, that's fair.
It's one of those things where it's like, I get that they're like trying their best to like, you know, have people do their jobs, but it, like when they act like that and like say stuff like, you know, it's like, one thing that did make me laugh was one of her exchanges with Jax, where she calls him a Jaxie boy.
Jaxie,
like,
yes.
Oh, Jaxie boy. There's some really good one-liners in this episode. One of my favorites was when Ragatha gets stupid sauce like in her and like basically becomes stupid. She basically becomes a kind of a representation of those coworkers who clearly come into work under the influence of something.
Yeah, wasn't it like you told me like after you watched the episode, you were talking about how like they were making a joke about Ragatha being stupid because she had the stupid sauce. You were like, unfortunately, that's actually an accurate depiction of what people do.
Yeah, they get stupid sauce because it's a real thing, as we all know.
Yes.
Some may also call it alcohol and weed, but I personally think everyone's under the same agreement that it's clearly called stupid sauce.
Obviously. I mean, how could it possibly be called anything else?
Yeah. But yeah, I remember working with a bunch of people who were under stupid sauce. I even knew one guy who was on like extreme stupid sauce. Let's call it that.
Extreme stupid sauce.
Yeah. And some of them were doing it during breaks. They would go out and consume their stupid sauce. And they would come back in. And how Ragatha acted was basically how they were. They were just like one of them would be like making sandwiches and they'd be like, yeah.
Sounds about right.
This is a chicken sandwich, right? And it's just like, most clearly not a chicken sandwich. It's like, no, you gotta do it like this. And they're like, what?
But why?
And one of my favorite lines from Gangle was like, it was, Gangle, yeah. No, okay, I'm trying to think. It was when Zubul was telling Ragatha to make sandwiches, and then Zubul ended up telling Gangle that he thought that Ragatha was like huffing paint or something. And Gangle was like, huffing paint and not waiting for a designated break? I love that line because it was like, look, I don't have a problem with you huffing paint, but not when you're on the job.
At least do it on your break.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna get high when you're not on the clock.
And I mean, that's the part of management where it's like, that's how it actually was. It was just like, look, I don't care what you do, just do your job. I don't care. Like, and that's the type of management I kind of prefer, honestly, when they're just like, look, just do the stuff and we ain't got no problems. Because there's some other managers who are just like, run the whole restaurant like a boot camp, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, when you're not making food, you need to. That was another line in the episode. You got time to lean, you got time to clean.
You got time to lean, you got time to clean. That's a classic.
Those type of managers were the worst because it was just like, I get it, of course, but you know, it was just one of those things. But there's another line. It's when Ragatha is like on the stupid sauce and she's just like, horse radish sauce. I just need to grab the horseradish sauce. I miss my horses.
I miss my horses.
The way she said that was just so funny to me. And I think it was when Gangle also was like, "You look like you need help," and then, well, like Dragon said something along the line of, "Oh, I don't need help, none. I'm already broken. Packages landing on my head, dance lessons." I don't even know what else she said. And then Gangle, who's just been so supportive, like telling everyone, "Come on, let's do a good job." She just looked at Zilla and she's like, "What's wrong with you?"
Something's not right.
But by far the best scene was when Jax was basically taken to the back rooms and
he did basically the equivalent of like when you work a real job and they make you sit through like those training videos that are like really bad, and they basically just made Jax sit through one of those because he was like,
your employee reevaluation. And what cracked me up the most about this scene in particular was when the whole exchange was just like, "So first things first, are you smiling?"
Yeah.
Are you smiling?
Do I look like I'm smiling to you?
No, it was the exchange. It's like, "Are you smiling?" Why not?
Why not? Why would you not be smiling?
The way that line is delivered just cracked me up. And like the expression change of just no, you know what? I just not realized. I wanted to start the episode like that. I wanted to just start.
Are you excited for this episode? Why not?
No, let's go ahead and simulate it right now. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Two Make Concern. We are the happiest people here. Hi, Steven. Are you happy?
No.
Why not?
What have I got to be happy about?
I was waiting a comfortably long time for you to say no.
Okay, listen, my brain doesn't brain sometimes.
Trust me, you don't gotta tell me, I know.
What's that supposed to mean?
By the way, I throughout the entire episode I've just been playing with this. This is a little kind of like a thing you like squeeze, and it's basically a stress ball, but
it's a stress cube. Yeah, it looks like a Lego.
It's a Lego piece. And
we call it stress Lego.
I literally just fidget with it while I do podcasts. I feel like you can also go back, and I try to hide it too, but sometimes it's obvious. And you can probably go back to previous episodes, and you can also see me fidget with other things.
Yeah, like, I do it sometimes too.
I got this thing. This is a back scratcher thing.
Oh, and, yeah, I've seen one of those before. The one where like it's really short, but you just like extend it.
Yeah.
Go gadget back scratch.
Yeah. Go gadget back scratch. So I literally sometimes treat it like a one of those spinning pins.
Yeah.
Yeah, like doing this kind of fun. So I sometimes I like to fidget with things while I'm talking because
I do too.
I'm a Gen Zer. I can't just talk. I need something to stimulate me. And this thing's also technically Bun. He's also technically a stress toy. I'm supposed to squeeze, but I respect him too much to do anything like that to him.
even though we're not going to talk about the fact we're not going to talk about the fact that at the beginning of the episode you just kind of slapped him off the microphone.
What are you talking about? I would never do something to Bun. Oh, come on. So we just kind of casually talked about episode 4 of Digital Circus. Overall, would you say you like? Let's go ahead and rank this among the other episodes.
I think this episode you can tell, like, because like you had the first episode, right, and it was really good and everybody was really excited because this is going to be a great show. And then you had the second episode where it was like, I mean, they kind of overplayed Jax a little bit. It felt a little forced. The jokes didn't really land. You know, it wasn't really the best.
Right.
Then you had the third episode and you're like, okay, you know, they're kind of figuring it out. This one's a little better. I feel like this episode,
in my opinion, that episode was by far the best. Episode 3, that was by far the best in my opinion. It was not only better than the second episode, but it was better than the first. And then we got this episode where I think it's like, in my opinion, it wasn't as good as 3, but it was still solid enough to where I'd say it's my second favorite right now. So the order for me right now is 3, 4, 1, 2.
I'm surprised you put 1 at third. I would say 1 is honestly my favorite. Just because of like the amount of lore and stuff that we get in it, but because like
it's not even a matter of whether it has enough lore or anything. It just comes down to whether it's an enjoyable episode.
Well,
I would make the argument, and like one thing to make clear: all 4 of these episodes are enjoyable. You know, all of them are really good in my opinion. It's just some that, you know, episode 2 is the only one that I'd say it's good. It's just not great.
Yeah,
you know?
Good, not great.
The other 3 are great, and like episode 3 in particular, I think it's spectacular.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty good too. I think 4, like, I feel like 4, along with 3, those two like the 2 most recent episodes are the episodes where they finally found like just the right balance of like story, or just the right balance of like having the characters do things in the episode while also giving like lore stuff, because like in this episode, you know, we had the whole fast food thing, you know, it was nice comedy, everything was funny, they had good jokes, and then you also had like all of the background lore on Gangle that we didn't know before, and so we learned a bunch of stuff, and we also got to watch a fun, enjoyable episode in the process. And episode 3 was like that too, which is why it was so good. I think 3 and 4 are the episodes where, like, you know, they learned from 2. They learned that, you know, forcing the comedy into, they kind of overdid it, and they found the right balance of, you know, comedy and storytelling.
And what's funny about episode 2 in particular is I remember when it came out, and like everyone just absolutely adored it. Like everyone loved it, like so much better than the first one. And meanwhile, we were here and we were kind of on the same page of like, it's still good, but it's not perfect. It's anything but perfect.
Yeah.
And we had our criticisms. And then these episodes are coming out and we're like, okay, now yes, these are actually like great episodes that are coming out now. And who knows what episode 5 is going to be. Honestly, I think they had a preview, like a preview video that like foreshadowed a lot of things that was going to come in like all the future episodes. And I think they went through all of them, as far as I'm aware, unless there's something else that's about to like reveal itself.
I don't know.
So who knows what episode 5 is going to be like. But yeah, so far this is a series that we would recommend 107%.
107%, yes.
I can't go all the way to 108%. That'd be extreme. But you know, 107 is good. Alright. So honestly, I think we should just kind of cut here. We kind of went on a lot about, again, this is kind of our comeback episode, you know, so like we're still getting into the swing of things.
Yeah, and both of us kind of, you know, coming back off of Christmas break, re-entering college, getting back into that college life.
That college grind.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I'd say we go ahead and put into this episode, and we will be back soon with another new episode, unless we go on hiatus again. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we're able to actually start getting into a grind of putting these episodes out. So yeah. Thank y'all for watching, and as always, please like and subscribe for another episode of To Whom It May Concern. See y'all.